Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? It's NegativeAE, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last we left off, we were just about to go tell the curry teacher that curry's stupid. And I guess she's gonna beat us up. I don't know, the teachers in the school are very weird. Don't make a lick of sense. It's interesting. So, get ready for a lot of explosions. I think we're approaching the end of the section, so we'll see. Rather the teacher's lounge.
罰ゲームなんかちゃっちゃと済ませて、今晩の献立の話でもしようぜ。
Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Satoko toward me, grabbing her shoulder with my other hand.
死ぬときゃみんな一緒だぜ。誰も一人でなんか死なせない。
みんなで一緒です。誰も一人でなんか死なせないのです。不謹慎な話ですわね。私はそんな物騒なのごめんですわよ。
She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was going to make me blush.
よし、この扉、一枚向こうは死後の世界だぞ。みんなで戻るぞ。みんなでだ。
ええ、みんなでですわよ。では、行きますわよ。
It doesn't help that the voice actors are pretty cute in their shits. Slam! We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, just as the sun rose in the eastern sky, Chie-sensei was eating curry for lunch. It was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brand every day. Oh wow! Oh wow! Hello! It's Chie-sensei, as a model, which makes me think that she's an integral part of the story. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Wait, so that's crazy. Chie-sensei is a model. You don't just give a model to someone that's not going to be a part of the story heavily. That is interesting. She appeared to be in the moment of supreme bliss, her mouth filled with her beloved curry. We were to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, is what we had to do. For that was the rule of the club, or of our club. Three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more.
じゃあ行くぜ。いいか。
What do you mean ready?
ケイチ様おとなしくしてるんですのよ。
Keiichi-san, god damn. Keiichi-san, you're gonna stay quiet.
すべて私と理科でやりますから、私に今だけ命をお預けあそばせ。ファイト、おーですよ。あなたたち？
We could see 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko, this is the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. Leaving it to you. Satoko inhaled deeply. So.
やいやい。カレー独身貴族、ニンニク臭いぞ。
What the fuck is you curry blank? What profanity could be there? Here's the explosion. Alright, cool, that was it. I guess teachers are just allowed to beat up students at this school. That's fine, though. I mean, it happens. There's places that it happens. I don't know if it happens to that degree. Like, you call curry stupid and the teacher's just like that sounds pretty stupid. But I don't know. In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Satoko muttered complaints under her breath quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Rika-chan didn't come with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do or something. I believed her when she told me, but then I really thought about it, and I started to think that maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. Without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more loquacious? That's not a word.
いいですこと？
That's a crazy word. If that's a word, that's a crazy word. I need to start using loquacious in every sentence that I ever use. Like, I'm just gonna drop loquacious in my friend group and see what they say.
スーパーというものにはタイムサービスというものがあるんですのよ。
Loquacious?
例えば野菜炒めに欠かせない豚肉ももう少し待つと半額にまで下がるんですの。お肉やお魚は鮮度が下がったら売れませんからね。お店も売れ残さないように土壇場では安くしてくれるってわけ。もちろん百戦錬磨の主婦の皆様もそれを熟知していて、こうしてサービスタイムが近づいてくると。
And I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all this quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised at something or made an affirmative grunt in place of conversation, Satoko would say, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" And smile very happily in spite of her complaints. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after the other. She was in such a supreme mood that being with her cheered me up. Merrily being pulled into Satoko's pace was a lot of fun.
おい、どうせならこっちのお得用パックにしようぜ。お、こっちのチーズ入りにもかなり惹かれるものが。
圭一さんは経済観念が欠落しすぎですわ。ご覧なさいませ。予算オーバー。お金が足りないのですわよ。
Satoko pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Why can't Satoko do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school?
そう、ノーマルは腹いっぱいたくさん買うか、ワンランク上のチーズ入りをつつましく買うか、これはかなり悩む。
おとなしく量を取りなす。年頃の男の方は質より量を取った方が賢明でしたよ。
チェ、サトコは厳しすぎだよ。質も量も両方取りたい。この男心がなぜわからん。
男心でお財布は膨らみませんのよ。まったく。
I swear.
未練がましくガラスに貼り付かないんですの。
After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place.
いけませんわ。早く行かないと半額豚肉がなくなってしまいますわ。
We
あいてててててて。引っ張るな。
The half-off pork is going away.
襟首を引っ張るな。
Satoko really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hands while running towards an amusement park attraction. In the end, the bag of pork we obtained was so normal that it almost hurt, but I knew that it would taste absolutely delicious. The cicadas had come out at some point, and the Higurashi were singing in chorus. The air was so clear, and it felt so good. If I'm not mistaken, aren't these two the same thing? You have the cicadas and the Higurashi. And they just... Cicadas had come out at some point, and the Higurashi... Wouldn't you just say they, and they were singing in chorus? Our silhouettes stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful picture. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. And they only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy, and it made me feel really happy in turn.
夕食の買い物ってのもおつなものだ。晩飯が楽しみになるっていうか、待ち遠しくなるっていうか。
それもまた自炊の楽しみでしたよ。お買い物のうちからもう夕食は始まっているんですもの。
野菜炒め楽しい。うちのお袋のメニューにはさ、野菜だから中華屋で外食する時くらいにしか食べられないんで、今日は本当に楽しい。
それはお気の毒でございますこと。では今日は特別に美味しいのをご披露して差し上げましたよ。
Am I like just like mooching off these like two kids for my dinner? We can watch like a video or something. I guess this is 1980 something, right? I always forget what date this is.
ああ、サトコならきっとうまい野菜炒めを作ってくれる。
I guess there's not many instructional. Well, I guess there is. There's got to be instructional cooking
すごく
videos back
楽しみ
then.
だよ。
Like on TV or something? She stammered for a second. Satoko had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then too, and when it didn't come, she was surprised. Maybe she stammered for some other reason? I don't know. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad.
ええ、とびきり美味しいのをごちそうしましたよ。楽しみにして遊ばせ。
As Satoko and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have lashed back at Satoko right away if she did something to me. Yeah, it was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke fun. There's no fun there. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. I went for Satoko, too. Satoko, who I thought I knew, hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing, little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship had become a little bit happier, a bit more charming. Wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely? And protecting her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home, onto me? Rika-chan told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So, as my actions drew closer to Satoshi's, Satoko was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. In other words, the Satoko, the real Satoko. Satoko had been able to see her brother again, and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I had been playing the role of her brother, I discovered that she could really smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hyojo. I was Keiichi Maebara, totally different person. Unless Insult is lying to me and that you're actually Satoshi. I couldn't become her brother. I could come close, but I could never really get there. I was vaguely somehow a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have to come off one day. And that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager... Does it really have to come off, though? Like... I mean, you're really just being friends, right? It's not like... Unless you, like, have to, like, leave town, you know? Like, if you're just living in the same town, you could just be like, yeah, let's just continue to, like... do whatever we got going on. I don't see anything wrong with being a brother to somebody else. A limited tranquility, a tranquility that would end one day. Why does it have to end? Is that like foreshadowing to like, I'm gonna have to like die or some shit? I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts. Well, if my theory is correct that we're getting these events in the wrong order, then there should be no Keiichi Maebara deaths for the rest of the series.
どうしましたの、ケイチさん。
Because the first one was the last one.
ごめん、なんでもないよ。
If that theory is correct.
なんでもないならそんな変なことしないでくださいませね。何か悪いものでも食べたんじゃないかと不安になってしまいますわ。
へいへい、ごめんよ、さとこ。
Acting like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my own face. Hey, Keiichi Maebara, why don't we quit thinking about having to end this one day? If it will, then just think about it when that happens. Exactly. Yeah, you don't even... Unless something like terrible happens, there's no reason that you need to end it. There's one thing, however, I could say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Satoko's own smile would never wane. As long as I stayed this way, this tranquility would never end. Exactly. Satoshi would come back one day too. That might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement? Exactly. Saying that I'm not her real brother, so I can't become Satoshi, that was just an excuse. If I just didn't run away, Satoko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. I don't know what happened to Satoshi or what made him abandon Satoko and run away. But just seeing Satoko in a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi. I would become a replacement brother. Exactly.
そうそう。 俺はこういう野菜炒めを期待してたんだよ。うまい。実にうまい。この塩コショウ味のお汁がいいんだよな。実にご飯が進む。
ほらほらゲイチさん、こぼしてますわよ。そんなに焦って食べなくてもご飯は逃げませんのよ。
いや逃げるぞ。出来たてほやほやの最高の味はできた瞬間からどんどん逃げていくんだ。サトコが100美味しく作ったものなら俺はその100、それがクーガーのマナーってもんだ。
それはお気持ちだけで十分ですわ。ですからもっと落ち着いてご飯をお食べなさいませ。
そうだな。悪い悪い。
No insults here, meekly scratched my. Put down the chopsticks and laughed along with her like it was funny. I ended up doing most of the eating. Satoko was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satoko looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me really happy as well. Time passed softly and gently. Before, I would have gone back and forth hurling insults with Satoko. In other words, we would have gotten into a fight right away. I'd never known that I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satoko. For example, I was eating food that Satoko had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Satoko would have definitely put some sort of trap into this.
がっつきすぎた。ちょっとトイレに行ってくるぞ。
ちょっとゲイチさん、
Bad manners to say such words during a meal.
じゃあなんて言えばいい？接近か？川屋か？お便所か？
Satoko looked down, her face bright red, and just pointed down the hallway as if to say, just go already. Whoops, my old habits seem to have come back. But yeah, this wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes. Everything is just natural. While having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went into the bathroom. Tug. My foot caught on something string-like. What the fuck just happened?
やかん？たらい？さとこ！
She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. I can't relax for a minute around her. Still, it was kind of funny, and I didn't really feel like getting angry. Satoko, laughing uproariously, came over.
ほらねほらね、そろそろ引っかかってくれる頃だと思いました。
まったくちょっと気を許すとこれだもんな。
Picked up all the wash tubs that had hit me in the head and went to go hit Satoko with them. But then I doubled over with the laughter that has been welling up within me, so I couldn't manage it. I wish things could go on forever like this. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hinamizawa or anything, but it was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much. It was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side we washed, with the experienced Satoko doing most of the work as I threw inappropriate words to add to the conversation. It seemed so commonplace and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I had felt this kind of warmth before too in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It's the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey, wait, Keiichi Maebara. Feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. I'd work hard for it, and endure much for it. So God. Oh, goodness me. Never a good sign. It's like a major red flag whenever they're having like, oh man, I wish this wouldn't end. Red flag. Oh man, I want this to go on forever. Red flag. What? Who says these things? It's not much of a dream when you want this thing to keep going and you can't grant it.
あら、あれは電話の音ではありません。こんな夜更けに誰でござ。
あ、本当だ。
Whoever it is gonna be the antagonist. Whoever it is gonna... I don't know about the antagonist, but they're gonna trigger some shit. But still, I wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, so no matter who it was on the other side.
もしもし。はい、前原です。
もしもし、ケイチ、お母さんだけど。
あ、なんだ、母さんか。何？
Okay, well, it's my mother, so maybe not.
こんな時間に。
What is it? It's pretty late. That was a little cold of me when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I couldn't help but give myself a dry
そ
smile.
の様子だと特にトラブルも。母さん、ケイチがご飯を作れなくてひもじくて寝込んでるんじゃないかと。
まあね、なんとかおかげで。
ご飯はちゃんと作れてる？今夜は何を食べたの？
Vegetable stir fry.
野菜炒めとご飯と味噌汁だよ。スーパーでいろいろとお惣菜を買ったから何気におかずも豊富でさ。そうそう、聞いてよ。豚肉なんかちゃんとタイムサービスを利用して半額で買ったんだぜ。へへ、主婦の知恵っていうのかな。
What the?
それから。
All of that was thanks to Satoko and not something I should be proud about. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. Seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood.
そう、しっかりやれていて。母さん、本当にそうそう、それでね。
Another thing, don't get killed by Satoko, who has a knife right behind you.
お父さんとお母さんの仕事が明日の昼か夜には帰れると思うから。
まあ、そうなんだ。
二晩、よく頑張ったわね。こっちも二晩ほとんど徹夜でね。大変だったけど、なんとか先生のイベントは穴を開けずに済みそうよ。
うん、よかったね。お疲れ。
Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing? I knew a little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily, and it was a little painful. You can still go over... Don't they live alone? Don't Rika and Satoko live by themselves? Just go over their house. Just be like, hey, I'm going out for dinner with friends. And just go over there. You know? Make it a daily thing. Make it like, yeah, we're having friend night. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo, and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver, and Satoko appeared, having finished her cleaning up her trap. At first, Satoko was in a very good mood, but when she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. It seemed like she'd gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about.
ケイチさんのご両親からですの？
ああ、明日には帰ってくるってさ。
あら、それは良かったですわね。明日のお夕食の面倒はもう見なくていいわけでございます。家族で水入らずの食卓を囲みなさいませ。
そんなことないよ。また明日からまた無味乾燥な食卓かと思うとなんだか寂しい。
何を贅沢言ってますの。家族みんなで囲む食卓が一番楽しいに決まってますわ。
Her brother Satoshi running away from home came to mind immediately. But there was no gloom in the way she said it.
私も昨日今日と2日間でしたけど。
ならさ、今度は俺から聡子の家に遊びに行くよ。
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
うちは狭くて汚いですわよ。お台所もこんなに立派ではありませんし。
俺は別に気にしない。でもま、聡子が嫌なら遠慮してもいいよ。
Satoko shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing.
それに俺、聡子にはまだまだいろいろと教えてもらわないと。ようやく炊飯器の使い方と味噌汁の作り方を覚えた程度だし。
それもそうですわね。これを機会に圭一さんにお料理をお勉強してもらうのもいいかもしれませんわね。
It was so like Satoko to take this chance to proclaim this was all for my sake. But there was no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There's no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue our mild moments like this. Like yesterday, Satoko told me she didn't need to be escorted home. But Rika-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. Everyone knew everyone else's faces here in Hinamizawa. It wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night, but it still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all alone. At the very least, that's what I thought as Satoko's older brother.
じゃあ学校の近くまで送って、あそこまで行けば結構街灯とかあるから大丈夫だろ。
本当に大丈夫なんですのよ。悪い人が現れても指一本で撃退してみせますわ。
That's not true. There's no point in pressing her any more on the subject, so I took a handful of Satoko's hair and rubbed her head vigorously.
さとこ、ごちゃごちゃ言うな。
Did you just say that in your head? Your Nini will bring you half part of the way there? That's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Satoko gave to her older brother and nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, so I started to feel apologetic and a little ashamed.
ニーニー。圭一さんが兄みたいに見えただけですわ。今の言い方全然違うけど、どこか雰囲気が似てましたもので、つい。
Is this gonna be one of those, like... Satoko laughed awkwardly and turned red in the face. Of course, I was embarrassed when I saw her too. Because of the fact I was trying to act like her older brother had gotten across, a warm feeling spread out from my chest. Completely different from romantic feelings or any of those impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet, warm, and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. I had initially thought of Rika-chan was being sly by not coming today, but when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind of thoughtfulness of her worrying about a good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood that she couldn't play the part of a brother herself. So then, no, let's stop there, Keiichi Maibara. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Satoko to be happy. Satoko is acting as though her Nini running away from home didn't bother her at all, even though that wasn't actually the case. She was very sad and always waiting for him to come home. Because Satoko was a stable person, she was his sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Satoko still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile it away as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserve praise for being so close to each other as siblings. That role of brother should be played by her real Ninis, by Satoshi, but unfortunately he wasn't here. So since I'm here, I'll play the part. And not with a guilty conscience, but in every natural way. Because... was there something wrong with seeing Satoko smile so happily?
なんですの、圭一さん。さっきからずーっとニヤニヤして。
俺が嬉しそうな顔をしてるとおかしいかな。
別におかしくはありませんけど、
The sound of the motor on her bike was... She has a motorbike? She has like a freaking... Oh my goodness, that's sick. I thought they were just riding regular bikes. She has a freaking motorbike, dude. One of those like cool like... Oh my goodness. That's cool. The motor on her bike light was too loud. Oh, it's a wait. A motor bike light? That's weird. Maybe it's
Nice.
not as cool as I thought. What's a motorbike light?
なんて言った
I need a picture of that.
いえ、本当にどこまでもニーニーに似てますのね、
Why in every story am I exactly like Satoshi?
ケイチさん。も
そっか
Why do I do all the things that Satoshi does?
ちろん本当のニーニーとは全然違うんですけども、こういろいろそういうところが似てますの。本当に不思議ですわね。
似ているとニーニーを思い出して寂しくなるか
As I said that, I thought for a moment that was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Satoko didn't seem to mind one bit.
別に寂しくなんかありませんわ。こうしてケイチさんがニーニーの代わりになってくれますしね。その
I was flustered for a moment at her hitting the mark. Satoko suddenly asked me a question in a calm voice. It was a very quiet, composed, and adult question.
理科ですの？
It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely somehow.
リカがニーニーの代わりになってケイチさんにお願いしたんじゃありませんの？
そう思うのか
気を悪くしないでくださいませね。リカって私には変に気を使うんですの。私はそんなに気にしていないのに。
I could say for sure that at least was a lie. Yesterday and today, Satoko had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings. And that was proof itself that she was lying about it not getting to her. So I gave Satoko a light poke in the head.
考えすぎだよバカ。俺は俺、前原圭一だ。お前のニーニーの北条聡じゃない。
そんなのは分かってますわ。
Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little lonesome. At this point, Satoko herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about this something that Satoko regretted. So in order to cut the conversation short, I grabbed her Satoko's head and petted her.
そんなくだらない話はもういいだろ
Petted. Let's not talk about silly things like
う。
that.
もう遅いからとっとと帰って歯を磨いて寝ろ。
This is cute.
ついでだから寝る前にうがいもしとけ。風邪の予防になっていいぞ。
I think I've been reading the conversations just because I like.
それを言ったらニーニーもですわよ。ちゃんと歯を磨くんですねよ。うがいもしてお手洗いも済ませて明日の教科書を準備して、それから
I think I've been subconsciously reading the conversations because it's so cute. I wondered what kind of siblings Satoko and Satoshi were. I'd never seen them together, but I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for the way in which they were close, it was probably quite like this. It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears. That's the end of that. So, interesting stuff. We've kind of sowed the seeds for an overly attached little sister, maybe. Where oh, we're her big brother now, but like if we try to like leave or some shit, she's gonna like go psycho. We've sowed the seeds for that story, if they want to go down that route. We've also kind of established once again that I'm like Satoshi in every way, and that I'm doing the same things as Satoshi, which is fine. But why? Unless I'm actually Satoshi, or like some shit is like happening, like doesn't make sense. I thought for like half a second in the middle of this chapter that it could be that I am like a mental patient, and I'm just imagining all this, and like that's why things are so stupid here. And that's why the second one ended in a hospital bed. Maybe it's just because I'm mentally crazy, and that's what's going on here. I don't know, could be. That would kind of be a cheap way out, which is, you know, it would be like, oh, I don't have to explain anything, you're crazy. But we'll see. they could pull it off with some grace if that's what they were going for. Let's view our new tip and see what we got going on. We'll read this and then we'll end the episode. I could sense Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun walking over. Oh goodness! From the gym storehouse. They needed to get the bag of lime used to make the lines on the court for our next gym class. They were on duty today, after all. But in that storehouse, a terrible trap was awaiting them.
トラップって仕掛けた側から見ると本当に
ケイイチさんにもその醍醐味がわかるなら素質がありましたよ。
The two of them fumbled around with the gym storehouse lock. Oh? What's this? Okumura-kun pointed at part of the door and started whispering to Tomita-kun. Then, realizing something, they both jumped away from the door.
お、サトコ、バレたみたいだぞ。失敗か？
あの二人が入り口のトラップに気づくのは計算済みですわ。
Had calculated, planned.
そして次にどういう行動に出るかももちろん計算済みですのよ。
This girl would be great at video games. According to Satoko, after they noticed the suspicious trap on the door, they would go around and try to get in through the back window. And just as she's prophesied, they went around to the back. And just as she prophesied, they climbed up and opened the window and tried to sneak in.
お、すげえ。サトコの読み通りだぞ。あ、かかった。
Jesus. Explosion of pure white lime burst out of the window. After a few moments, the two of them managed to crawl away from the window, both of them completely white.
この瞬間がたまりませんわね。蜜の味でございましてよ。
いや、しかしよくかかったよな。
You
こ
would
ん
have
な
to.
器用なトラップ。富田君が窓を登るとき、どこに手を置いて、どこに足を置くかとか、どこへと。
いいですことケイチさん。トラップの第一歩は相手の観察から始まりますのよ。相手の行動パターンを読み、相手ならこの時こう動くというのを綿密に読み切るんですの。そうすれば必要最低限の仕掛けで最大の効果が狙えるトラップが仕掛けられますのよ。
Come to think of it, before Satoko read the final move at that final moment earlier, Mion had given her high praise, saying that she had the markings of a
ト
genius.
ラップは読みが全てってわけか。じゃあつまり過去に俺が引っかかってきたトラップもみんな俺。
私なりにケイチさんの行動パターンを読み切っているからかかる。だからケイチさんがある日突然いつもと違う癖やいつもと違うパターンになってしまったらかからなくなってしまうわけですわね。
Bragging that she could anticipate everything I do. That was kind of mean.
よーし。じゃあさ、サトコの読みが当たるかどうか試してみろよ。
いいですわよ。ケイチさんは特に読みやすいですから朝飯前です。
When we got back to the classroom, Satoko tore off pieces of paper and wrote something on the back of them, making 3 cards. Of course, I didn't know what she'd written.
この中の1枚を引いてごらんなさいませ。外れを引かなければケイチさんの勝ちですわ。
They all say you're a loser.
よーし、挑戦してやるぜ。部活で鍛え上げられた俺の感性で見事打ち破ってくれる。
Satoko smirks and holds out 3 cards. This remind of full power by calming it, Keiichi Maebara. Cool and collected is how you'll win. If I don't pick the losing one, I'll win. It means if I do pick it, Satoko will win. In other words, Satoko wants to make me pick the losing one. She would make them all... Could you even predict something like that? Statistically speaking, isn't there some rule that says I'm more likely to pick the one on the middle or the ones on either side? Then it hits me like a flash. This is what Mion would do.
さあどれ。
決めたぜ。それはな、これだ
I thought he was gonna like catch it, but nope.
何をするでございますの。
I steal all 3 cards from Satoko's hands, and they all say you're a loser. I predicted what Satoko would do in advance. Satoko wanted to make sure I picked the losing one. which meant that all 3 of these were losing ones.
そういうわけだ。この3枚改めさせてもらうぜ。
What? That's great. That's amazing.
なんだこりゃ。
I wouldn't have done that. I would have just been like, I'm not picking anyone. That's a trick question. But he picked all of them, and that's great. I wasn't expecting that one.
外れ。
I was expecting them just to all have you're a loser on it.
つまりはそういうこと。1枚しか取らなかったなら外れにはならなかったということ。
じゃあ俺が3枚まとめて引くの読んでいたっての。
Man, easy clap, dude. She would be really good at video games. Like 100%. Fainted as Satoko reveled at the might of her abilities. Her shrill laughter echoed throughout the classroom. There was a poof of as lime powder came down upon Satoko's head. I looked up to see Tobi-Takun and Okumura-kun all in white dumping a whole bag of lime powder on her and getting their revenge. Yojo! You're the only one who could have set up a trick like that.
失礼でございますわね。どこに証拠がございますの？それに罠なんて品のない言い方はやめてほしいですわね。より優雅にトラップと呼んでほしいですわ。
Payback.
ケイチさん、助けて。
Our underclassmen crashed around the classroom in furious combat, getting white lime everywhere. Hey Satoko, why couldn't you see this coming exactly? At the time I hadn't seen something coming too, though the teacher coming to me afterward and giving us all the stern talking to. Okay, I get it, sure. Awesome. Alright, so I guess in conclusion, something's going on at Satoko's house. Why wouldn't Satoko want us to come over her house? But it's dirty, really? Is that what's going on? So something fishy's going on there. This is another new universe, it seems like. We have story connections, but the story connections are specific points in time, which are weird to me. Again, we only have... this is the 3rd chapter, so we only have 2 chapters really to go off of. I think after this chapter, we'll have a better understanding of how this world is kind of working, depending on how this one ends. I'm still not sure if I died in the second one. Did I die in the second one? Is that what happened? I think I just went crazy, right? Or is that just, is it up for interpretation? And like, I'm crazy. And so I'm thinking that I won't die in this one either, because I'm kind of putting my money on the fact that this is a story told in backwards order and that we'll get the key at the end that wraps us all together. And kind of shows us, or I guess near the end, I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop talking before I go on forever about this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode of this, whatever that may be, and peace out, you guys.